In a world where friendships are considered sacred, what happens when a promise made in trust becomes a source of betrayal? Imagine a story that begins with camaraderie and ends in a courtroom, where a man feels he has no choice but to sue a friend over a broken promise. Can you believe this actually happened? This tale revolves around two friends, Mark and David, who met in college. They shared a bond that many would envy. Late-night study sessions turned into lifelong brotherhoods. They celebrated each other's victories, supported each other through failures, and most importantly, made promises to always have each other's backs. But as time would reveal, one promise would shatter this seemingly unbreakable bond. Years passed and Mark and David took different paths. Mark pursued a career in finance while David followed his passion for art. Despite their differing careers, they remained close, sharing their dreams and aspirations. Then came a moment when Mark decided to take a leap of faith. He wanted to start his own investment firm, a venture that would require not only his savings but also significant financial backing. Feeling the weight of his dreams, Mark approached David. "I need your help," he said. "If you can lend me $50,000, I promise I'll pay you back within a year plus interest." David, who had been saving for a new art studio, hesitated, but he trusted Mark. After all, they were friends. He agreed, believing in Mark's vision. "You can count on me," David said, sealing the promise with a handshake. But as the months rolled on, things took an unexpected turn. Mark's investment firm struggled to gain traction. The financial market was volatile, and despite his best efforts, he found himself in a deep financial hole. He realized he couldn't pay David back as promised. The weight of the broken promise hung heavily between them, creating an invisible barrier. David, sensing something was amiss, confronted Mark. "What's going on? You promised you'd pay me back," he pressed. Mark's response was filled with regret. "I'm working on it, David. Please just give me a little more time." Time passed and the situation didn't improve. David felt betrayed. The trust he had placed in Mark was crumbling. Can you believe that a friendship could deteriorate so quickly? Feeling cornered and desperate, David made a bold decision. He sought legal advice. His lawyer explained that while suing a friend was an extreme measure, it was not without precedent. Contracts can be enforced, even between friends. A handshake may seal a promise, but in the eyes of the law, it often falls short without formal documentation. David was torn. He didn't want to take Mark to court, but the financial strain was unbearable. He had bills to pay and his own dreams to chase. So he filed a lawsuit seeking the return of the $50,000. The day of the trial arrived and emotions ran high. As David sat in the courtroom, he couldn't help but reflect on their friendship. The memories flooded back, the laughter, the late-night talks, the dreams they once shared. But now, all that was overshadowed by the weight of betrayal. When Mark entered the courtroom, he looked weary, the stress of the situation etched on his face. The tension was palpable. Mark's attorney stood up, ready to challenge David's claims. "Your Honor, my client did not intend to default on any agreement. This was a friendship, not a formal contract." The judge listened intently, but David's attorney countered. "While it may have started as a friendly agreement, this is a matter of financial obligation." Mark accepted the money with the promise to pay it back. The context of their relationship doesn't invalidate the debt. As the arguments unfolded, David felt a mix of hope and despair. Would the judge understand the emotional weight of this case? Would he see beyond the money and recognize the breach of trust? The courtroom drama intensified when Mark took the stand. "I never meant to hurt David," he said, his voice trembling. "I just wanted to create something great. I'm sorry I couldn't pay him back, but I lost everything." David watched Mark closely, searching for sincerity. This was a man he once called a brother. Could he forgive him? But when Mark's attorney revealed financial documents showing Mark's losses, the courtroom fell silent. They detailed failed investments, lost clients, and a business struggling to stay afloat. David's heart sank. He realized the promise was more than just money. It represented the fragility of their friendship. As the trial continued, David's testimony became emotional. "I didn't just lend money. I believed in you. I believed in us. This isn't just about the money, it's about trust." The judge nodded, clearly moved by David's words, but the reality of the situation loomed large. The lawsuit was not just a legal battle, it was a fight for closure. After days of testimony, the judge finally delivered his verdict. "The court finds in favor of David," he stated, "but I encourage both parties to seek a resolution outside of this courtroom." David felt a rush of mixed emotions, relief, anger, sadness. He had won, but at what cost? As they left the courtroom, Mark approached David. "I'm sorry, man, I never wanted it to come to this." David paused, searching for the right words. "I just wanted you to keep your promise." Their eyes met, and for a moment it felt like the friendship they once had was within reach. But the reality was undeniable. A rift had formed that may never be repaired. In the weeks following the trial, David received the court's ruling. Mark was ordered to pay back the loan, but he was also facing bankruptcy. David faced a difficult choice. Should he pursue the payment, knowing it could ruin Mark financially, or should he let it go, preserving a shred of their past friendship? Isn't it astonishing how money can complicate even the closest relationships? As David pondered his dilemma, he received a heartfelt letter from Mark. I know I messed up, I've lost everything, but I'm trying to rebuild. I'll always be grateful for your support, even if it didn't turn out the way we hoped. David felt a pang of empathy. He realized that sometimes friendships evolve and expectations can lead to disappointment. Ultimately, David decided to forgive the debt. He reached out to Mark and they met for coffee. It was an awkward encounter filled with apologies and confessions. They shared stories of their struggles and hopes for the future, navigating the delicate balance of friendship and business. Though the road to reconciliation was long, they slowly began to rebuild their bond. David learned that forgiveness can sometimes be more powerful than any legal victory. This story serves as a reminder that promises made in friendship carry weight. They can uplift us, but when broken, they can fracture even the strongest of bonds. What would you do in this situation? Would you pursue a legal route, or would you find a way to forgive? The case of Mark and David teaches us that while contracts may bind us legally, the ties of friendship require understanding and compassion. In the end, it's not just about the money, it's about the people we choose to trust. As we reflect on their journey, let us remember that life is filled with unpredictable twists and turns. The choices we make define not only our relationships, but also who we are as individuals. So the next time you make a promise to a friend, think about the weight it carries. Because in the end, a broken promise can lead to a journey of self-discovery, forgiveness, and perhaps a new beginning.